Stan Arthur here for the I Love St. Pete Facebook group. If you're a business owner looking to connect with tens of thousands of potential new local customers, you owe it to yourself to get enrolled in our Key Tag Rewards program. Since 2019, we've signed up more than 200 local merchants. Sponsor opportunities are available too, such as our group banner ad and even your own custom key tags. Just go to stpetekeytag.com, get enrolled, and get ready to get busy. stpetekeytag.com.
Notoriety Sports Network. Breaking news, live shows, unprecedented content. Notoriety Sports Network. Built different.
Right side, it's Dano to center ice. A pass blocked away by McDonough. Goodrow carries across the blue line. Open right circle.
No.
Pass in front. Score!
What a job.
What a goal by Blake Coleman! And it counts!
0.3 seconds, David.
0.3 of a second on the clock! And it's 2-1 Lightning!
What a play by Coleman. Goodrow comes in, he steals it, goes back. Coleman dives. I mean, folks, he literally dove and he hit the puck with his stick and it went up over the outstretched right arm of Carey Price. That is a heck of a goal and a heck of an effort.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, getting you ready for Bolts versus the Canadiens, Game 3 of Stanley Cup Final. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about on tonight's show. Of course, we'll take your phone calls. How excited are you, Bolts fans, to see your Tampa Bay Lightning once again only 2 games away from repeating as Stanley Cup champions? But of course, business is at hand, and they're going to be on the road tonight, so they're going to definitely have to be road warriors. Definitely want to hear from you. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Again, I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. And how do we start off the sports web? Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. On this show, we're going to have the Stash himself of Shooter and Stash. Of course, they do a great podcast post-game show when the Lightning win or lose. So we'll have the Stash on here. We'll also have a caller, one of my good friends, Janine Wright, basically promoting an event this weekend locally in Newport Richey, country music artist, and possibly the Bolts warrior himself, Mr. Jamie Lindsay from Amalie Arena. So lots of things to get to. Definitely want to talk Tampa Bay Lightning with you once again. 727-255-0391 to get to the news at hand. And we'll talk more about this, but John Cooper has ruled out Alex Killorn. He remains out. He missed game 2. He's also going to miss tonight's game. Tonight's game starts at 8 o'clock on NBC Sports Network. So without further ado, let's get out to the Stash here. Love their sports animation. Do a great job, not only with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Lightning and the Rays. So always glad to have this guy on here. from Shooter and Stash, the Stash himself. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. And give me your overall thoughts of this Tampa Bay Lightning team. Dominant effort game 1, and then game 2, Montreal really gave their best effort, right? Welcome to the evolution.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me again, man. Peter, it's great to be back in on the web here with you. Talking Bolts hockey, because, that's my favorite thing to do. I like to talk all sports, but for me, it comes down to this team, this time of the year. Playoff hockey, man, it doesn't get better than this for me. I've been watching nothing but highlights. The only sad part for me about the finals, to be honest, is that there's only one matchup. I don't get hockey every day. But back to this series at hand. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Game 1, not a whole lot to talk about really, because the Lightning just came in and played probably the best 60 minutes we've seen them play of hockey, maybe in the last 2 seasons, including their cup run last year. Just complete domination. Montreal just couldn't quite get the matchups they wanted to, and the Lightning played their game the whole time pretty much. Game 2, it looks really lopsided on the shots. Absolutely. Canadians, 43 shots. Vassy standing on his head. They definitely played a lot below our goal line a lot more. Didn't allow our forecheck to establish itself as much. They definitely played much better hockey. But the Lightning still didn't play terrible hockey as much as it looks like maybe on the stat sheet, And those 3 goals weren't really lucky goals. They were advantageous, absolutely. They took advantage of mistakes for sure, but those mistakes were made and they capitalized on those mistakes. And that's what this team really is about, even in those kind of games when they're not playing their A game per se, or the other team is really playing better. Because that's, I want to give Montreal a lot of credit for the way they played. It's not just that the Lightning played so terribly. It's that Montreal made some adjustments and they really got to it. And you kind of mentioned it coming into this with Cooper talk about Killorn being out again for game 3. That's, I think, where they missed him the most in game 2 is you got the next man up mentality for this Lightning team for sure. But Alex Killorn does so much. I mean, that guy plays 16, 17 minutes. He always is top of the power play. He's on the penalty kill, offense or defensive zone face-offs. And he really is kind of like that tandem to Cirelli's amazing two-way play. Killer kind of reinforces that in the corners as Cirelli kind of brings that up the middle with his defense. So that's, I think, something that, the Lightning probably didn't have as much hustle, but I think that also they weren't really comfortable, really. I mean, Gord was up and down on that line. Johnson was on that line a little bit. Sergachev had almost 3 minutes of power play time. Maroon had almost 2.5 minutes of power play time. You're not really seeing that if Killer's in, the over 3 on the power play there with the Lightning. So I think if you really want to talk about the main thing to overcome for the Lightning, that's the main thing, is being able to get back their skates underneath them, skate without Alex Killorn, figure out a way to still create that forecheck in Montreal's zone and really eliminate those turnovers, because that's the other thing that they were doing in the offensive zone. They were definitely getting turnovers one and done. They weren't really sustaining offense really until that third period. So, it's the finals, man. And Montreal got here playing maybe some weaker teams, in my opinion, but that doesn't mean that they aren't mentally tough, resilient. They get their coach back tonight. They're back in their barn, obviously. I think it's a little sad. There's only 3,500 inside and 50,000 outside. But that's not really here. That's the thing, though. They're going to be playing hard to be back in their barn for the first time in how long. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to unpack, really. But at the same time, it's game 3. It's 2-0, and the Bolts have an opportunity to go in there and play well on the road, which they have played very well on the road throughout this postseason.
And Stash, you talk about the 3,500. Do you feel like the NHL, and the government should have allowed them to have at least half, because that wouldn't have been a big time advantage? But now the Lightning go into there. Look, they played in the bubble with no fans, of course. Fans can definitely be an effect. We saw that with Amalie Arena, how loud it is. So I think they get a break there. But do you feel like, maybe the government and the NHL kind of, tried to get, halfway full there so they would have some type of home ice advantage? Because it's been so long since 1993 when they won the cup last. I mean, couldn't you make an exception for the fans? Come on.
I mean, it's a slippery slope, obviously. I mean, we've dealt with it time and time again here in Tampa, right? Look at all the premier things we've had happen since the pandemic hit. We had the cancellation of WrestleMania, but then that came back. We had Super Bowl. We had the boat parades, both of them. Now we've had the Stanley Cup playoffs here. We've opened up all of our sporting events and venues, really, for the most part. So we know what that's like here. We've kind of gone through it. They're behind us on where they're having to deal with as far as the virus. And so I understand where they're coming from that, as a nation and medically. But at the same time, I'm surprised is what I would say. I don't know if I could presume to tell them what to do or what they should or shouldn't do. I'm just saying I'm surprised with it. A, being hockey, B, being the Canadiens, and going back to the Bell Center, and kind of against Tampa Bay Lightning too, which, like, this is where they all come down here for their snowbird vacation, and you know what I'm saying? We're one of the greatest destinations for these snowbirds to come down. So, like, I just feel like they'd be like more prone to maybe try something. And how are they letting 50,000 fans gather outside of the arena? And then that's the other thing to me that really just doesn't ring true to me. It's like, it's kind of a big contradiction. If you're letting that many gather outside, we can't control that. Well, yeah, you can. You can't control it. I mean, you don't want to cause a riot or anything, but you can. So it's sad to me. It's a little bit sad, and I think Montreal deserves more as a city, as a team, as players, as an organization. I think they deserve a little bit more. But at the same time, they got to rise above it, But it does matter. You said, the Lightning played in the bubble last year, so they know what it's like.
Sure.
And the Lightning played with only 35 to begin the season. They went through this whole evolution. There was 35 to begin with, and then 7,000, and then 9,000, and 13. And then they were talking to Pickles on NHL Network earlier, and they asked him about what his favorite moment so far of this playoffs has been. And of course, they were talking about the goal, so they said it can't be this goal, right, from last night. But he said right away it was Game 7, the last 2 minutes, and how insanely loud Amalie Arena was. For all the people out there saying our barn isn't loud, he said he could barely hear himself think for the whole final 2 minutes of that game. And he's like, that's what I think about as a kid. He's like, that's all I've wanted to play in a Game 7 my whole career. Is his first Game 7, and he'll remember that because the barn was full. So it does sting, I think, a little bit for Montreal. And again, I was in the barn for Game 2 whenever they announced the full capacity, and let me tell you, it wasn't quite as loud, maybe as Game 1 was or Game 7, because I think our fans were a little bit nervous with the way they were playing, and
right.
And our fan base tends to go a little bit with the way the Lightning do too, So when you're in the barn, but I'll tell you what, at the end, during some of those goals, that place is electric. You can feel it. We have a great vibe in big games, and so I think Montreal, the Canadiens, how do you not feel that? Right? I mean, you're still human. When you go out onto your ice and you hear a woo, and then the piped-in music still, or the piped-in
like that right there, you mean?
Yeah, you're not going to get that experience that you got to see your opponents get. And the thing too is, Sonia Bryson's still singing the national anthem, so they kind of got that little hometown edge at the same time. So the boys are still, I think, going to feel comfortable up there. So, yeah, I mean, it's not, I don't know if it's a major storyline, but it's definitely, it's a byline, and it's definitely kind of sad, I think, for this organization to have made it at this time, in their franchise. If they could have made it next year or some, but still, at least they have some fans in the building, and their team is there, and there are going to be 50,000 rabid Francophiles out there just getting crazy, waiting for Montreal to hopefully win for them.
Yeah, I think there's a lot, and we're on with the Stash from Shooter and Stash. Once again, go ahead and promote this podcast that you do almost every other night, especially when the Lightning win or lose. You guys, kind of like the evolution of sports talk television on Notoriety Sports Network, and of course, I Love St. Pete, the Sports Web. Go ahead and promote it.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a while. What we do normally during the regular season is we do once a week a show, because it's a lot to do it year round. But then when the playoffs kick in, we go live after every game with our post game. It's myself and Shooter, as our name says, Shooter at the Stash, and we have another guy with us all the time. I call him the Professor, Thomas Schooley.
Nice.
He's probably a super fan. He's our insider, if you will. He's the guy that gets us all the inside information from Amalie and the players, and and we just have a good time, man. It's, a group of ham and eggers. We've been, like I said, I think 7 or 8 years we've been doing this now, and grinding out, having fun. And that's what we do. We love hockey, and that's our favorite thing, especially Shooter and I. So we really like to go all in, and it's a grind. Yeah, we go every single game, post game, usually about an hour. And right now, what's cool, we got to team up with Smack Apparel, and so we get to give out one of their T-shirts on every show after every game. So that's been cool. They got some really cool Tampa Bay Lightning themed Smack Talk apparel, which that's their gimmick. So yeah, man, we're just kind of loving it, living this ride with all the fans, and like our fans can call in, they can join our show. We have comment and chat. We like to get involved and engaged. Because we like to say and that's by the way, I guess I should say the name of the show is We the Thunder.
We the Thunder. Yeah,
because that's the name of the show, because that's what we are. We're just the fans, just like and that's where we like to do a show for the fans by the fans, really. So
yeah, absolutely. Now you talked about Alex Killorn. Of course, he's gonna miss Game 3. To me, when I watch him, he's definitely important because it seems like maybe he doesn't necessarily play well in the regular season. But when it comes down to postseason, he scored some major goals in Lightning history, and you're definitely missing him. How did you feel Tyler Johnson and Matthew Joseph played for him the other night?
I think they played pretty well. Johnson has been playing well throughout this whole playoffs. I think that's the thing we've all been talking about for Lightning fans. And he just stepped up and played really well. I think you are missing a little bit of that chemistry, because that's probably the most consistent line is that Stamkos, Cirelli, and Killer line. But he played well, and Joseph only got 6 minutes, but I think that had to do with Colton getting banged up, and he was off the ice a little bit, so that line didn't get to get going like it might be able to tonight. So yeah, like I said, I think Killer's probably one of the biggest unsung heroes on this team, especially come playoff time. And the way he plays 200 feet and how he affects both possession of the puck in the defensive zone and the offensive zone, and how him and Cirelli team up in the neutral zone. So, all three phases, those guys could really be Selke guys if their scoring was just up a little bit more consistently in the regular season. So, and Joseph, I think, can do well, especially with Colton, man. I think that guy is destined for top line minutes in the future, depending on what happens in the offseason with this team. But this team is banged up. That's the one thing we need to talk about. Sergachev, he's banged up. They're taking shots. They're going after him. Obviously, we know Kucherov, he's banged up. Johnson's taken a couple of shots now. Cernak missed some time in the last series. He looks healthy now, but you never know what he might be playing with and playing through. So the most important thing I think right now for this team is just to come out and try and play their game and not let it get too out of control physically. And if they can get out there and control the puck early and maybe get that goal early, we've seen what this team can do with the lead.
Yeah, we've seen what this team can do with the lead. And, for me, I think it's difficult for first and foremost the Lightning to repeat that effort, because they did get outshot. They did get outplayed, but they were still able to win the game because of Vasilevsky. And we'll get back to that in a moment, because we could talk about this guy all night long. Unfortunately, the GMs in the National Hockey League, they need to have an investigation or watch some tape on a Vasilevsky for him to even be left off the ballot for that Vezina, even for the MVP. That's neither here nor there. We'll get back to that in a moment. But I think it's really difficult for the Canadians to replicate that effort, especially trying to get up. I get it's a home game. You outshot them. And I go back to, the highlight when we were first coming into the show, the Blake Coleman goal. Talk about that, because to me, that was the deflator right there. Basically, the air came out of the balloon. Here's a team, if you go into the second period, at the end of the second period, it's 1-1 tied. You feel good about yourself coming out in the third period, but instead it's 2-1, and you put all that time and effort and got nothing basically to show for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's that stat about Montreal that I think they were undefeated when tied or leading coming out of the second period, or tied.
Good stat.
And winless when losing, being behind in the second period. And of course, the Lightning have only had 2 losses in the last 2 postseasons when going into the second with the league. So, and that's going back all the way through the regular season as well. So this team knows when they got a second period lead, they know what to do. And it did change the momentum. I don't think Montreal played less, or they don't really let it get to them in the third, but the Lightning definitely played better in the third. I said I was at the game. First thing I did, I came home and did the show. First thing I did is went back and I watched the DVR, watched it again.
Nice.
Woke up the other day, watched it again today. I've watched this game 4 times now.
I like you. This is the reason why we have you on the Sports Web. This guy right here does his research. He has his stats ready to go, and he's watching the game. He's not he's not what he said he was, a Hammenegger, when he came in. He definitely knows what he's talking about. Okay, proceed. Keep on going.
Yeah, but I appreciate that. I really do. But and that's what I saw. It was that sure there was a lot of shots, but they're perimeter shots. They got their shots in the slot. I think there was more than 10. That's another thing I saw today. Again, all I did was watch highlights and coverage. But I think they had over 10 shots in the slot, and he stopped them all again. Which, I mean, that's insane that he's able to do that. That's what Vasilevsky brings. But the team didn't play terrible, and that's what I saw too. Is that there were turnovers in the offensive zone, but they didn't necessarily play bad in their own zone. They played okay in the neutral zone, and yeah, you have to be gutted if you're Montreal to a point, because Pickles came out and he scores that goal in the last 3/10 left in the second period. And again, is it a lucky goal? No, that's a skill goal. That's a play. But one of the things that they talked about right after the game, and this isn't me, this is, they could have easily killed off the end of that period. Montreal, they had possession of the puck in their zone. All they got to do is skate around with 9 or 10 seconds left, and they go into the third period tied. That's all they have to do. That's what an experience. That's what the Lightning do. That's what experienced teams do.
Right.
Montreal is a young team. Montreal try to go make some momentum, try to make that one last play, make that one last rush. You can't do that against a team as experienced as the Lightning, because what happens? You got the third line out there. Blake Coleman pinches on the boards, creates a turnover. McDonough makes a great play. Gaudreau, underrated with his skill in his hands, gets through a defenseman at the blue line and lays it in the perfect place. And you see, this is the fourth time in his professional career Pickles has made that kind of play. And again, I was watching his interview on NHL Network, and he said he got a call from his Pee-wee coach saying that he used to make those same kind of goals when he was in Pee-wees.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't tell me that's a lucky goal. No, that's what Pickles does. That's what Blake Coleman does. All right. So that's what the difference between the Lightning that I saw in that game. That's the biggest difference I saw, is the Lightning might make some turnovers and they're going to make some mistakes in game, but their team defense and their experience makes up for that a lot. Montreal makes mistakes. They're young, and Tampa Bay's experience allows them to cash in on those mistakes almost every time. And we saw it, 3 goals. And even the Cirelli goal maybe didn't seem as much of a mistake, but even still, it was the Lightning created a mistake from Montreal in the neutral zone, and they were able to take advantage of it and have sustained offense in the second. And that was pretty much the only sustained offense they had that whole second period. And Cirelli made them pay for it.
Stash, how underrated is Cirelli? Because he doesn't really get the pub like a Kucherov and a Braden Point, and of course a Stamkos. But what do you see with his game? You talked about a two-way player. Why doesn't he get more publicity? He's only 23 years old. It's like he's only going to get better from here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's why I think he was such a priority on the offseason to lock up, and that's why everyone was so worried about the cap situation. It's mostly because of him. So as underrated as he is, the fans knew he needed to stay, right? Because this guy does play two-way. I mentioned the Selke Trophy earlier, and if he maybe went 10 or 12 more points a season, he probably would be in consideration for that more often. He plays on the second line of a really great and talented team, and the type of hockey that he plays isn't necessarily going to always translate to personal goals and assists and personal stats all the time. But what it does is it generates the way this team plays hockey. Like, that line is the lifeblood of the style of hockey that the Lightning play, which is possession hockey. I've already talked about how important Killorn is, but Cirelli is the middle of that, and he plays defense, and you can put him up against any center in the NHL, and he'll shut him down. And that's the thing I think that's underrated, is the way he continues to always be on the puck, and the puck doesn't come off his stick. When he has the puck on his stick, he's not the guy that's down there. It's going to stay on his stick, and then it's going to go somewhere so one of his guys can make a play on it. And the other thing is his neutral zone play, I think, is highly underrated. It's very hard to get by him. He skates really well. He has very good vision, and he understands where his guys are going to be, and that's the thing also that gives him a lot of confidence, is that line gels very well. So he knows where his guys are going to be, and so that allows him to go do his job, and that's really great possession of the puck down below the goal line.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And consequently, you're talking about giving away the puck. We talked about that earlier on in the series. When the Lightning have their worst games, they're giving away the puck. It goes with any sports, football, When you turn over the ball, you give the other team the opportunity, and consequently, in game 2, Montreal turned over the puck and the Lightning made them pay. And we're on with the stash from Shooter and Stash here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about on the Notoriety Sports Network and I Love St. Pete. Let's talk about Andrei Vasilevskiy. 42 saves the other night. I think he's extra motivated. My friend Leo Haggerty, the legend himself, former coach scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions at Sports Mag, said, book it, Dano. It's going to be a sweep simply because he has that chip on his shoulder. Is that what you saw the other night with him not winning the Vezina, which I don't understand how he couldn't, but I get it. Marc-Andre Fleury, definitely qualified. He's had a long career. He's never won it. And I get it. Vazzy has won it. Can you make any sense of that vote?
I mean, you kind of got there right there in the lead up to it. Flower hasn't won it yet. He's been in the league for 13 years, I think, something like that. Couple of cups already, obviously pretty dominant out there in Pittsburgh, and had a great season, and it's not really his fault that Vegas went out there and got another really starting goalie and then mismanaged their situation and didn't know how to commit to a goalie.
Sure.
Because we saw what that did to them in the playoffs versus what, the two final teams in the playoffs. No coincidence to me. I think I said that before, that they're both the guys that have the one guy that's playing in net the whole time for them, So, but, maybe it's a bit of a lifetime achievement award, and they know Vazzy, again, nominated again, I think 3 years in a row or something like that. And, so he's going to get nominated again. He's probably going to win it again or again and again. And so I guess sometimes that's where they come from when they're voting for these things. Who knows how much more Fleury he's going to have and where he's going to go and what. So I get that from a fan's perspective and how these awards work. The fan poll, or not the player poll, or the players. When they asked the players, Vazzy was number one to the players, and I think they say this a lot. That's kind of what matters to them.
Mm-hmm.
But also, why do you announce this in the middle of the finals? Like, it's only another week and a half. You couldn't wait a week and a half to announce these awards because Montreal, that's not fair to them. Yeah, because I think he has a chip on his shoulder now. How could he not? He's so competitive, and he's a Russian hockey player, man. Like, they're born to only be the best, right? Like, that's what they do, is to win and be the best. And so I think you kind of tune that out, when you get to this level, when you're in the playoffs, you try not to listen to all that extra stuff and the networks and everything else. But someone around there has to know how to use that. He's been here how long now? They have to know how to use that as motivation for him, right? How do you say it? How do you leave the little Easter egg or just that little drop of, hey, they kind of screwed you on this one. And are you really as good? Maybe Price is better than you. I don't know. And oh yeah, well, let me show you. Big cat's ready. So it's dangerous. It's dangerous to poke the cat, if you will, or wake a sleeping cat, let a sleeping cat lie, whatever.
Yeah.
Don't do that. But that guy is the best. He is the best. Everyone says it. Nobody disputes the fact that the best goalie on the planet is Andrei Vasilevskiy. He showed it last night because the Lightning kept a lot of those out to the perimeter, but like I said, 10 shots plus from I think there was actually 12 shots from the slot. He had multiple save plays where he saved 2 or 3 saves in a row.
Sure.
Sequences. So he proved it. He proved it for sure. And how do you feel? And again, let's talk about this too. The goals that have been scored by Montreal. They haven't really been.
They've been fluky
goals by Montreal. Right. They've been bounced. They've been good bounces.
Right.
And I take those goals just like anybody else in hockey. I take them. But in the playoffs, you're not going to win with those goals. Okay.
Right.
Because sure, again, the Lightning scored based on mistakes, but the Lightning made mistakes and then Montreal didn't score. So that's the difference. They didn't capitalize. The Lightning did, and they didn't score fluky goals. They went and made good plays, heads up plays. Like even the Palat goal, even the third goal, that's a heads up play. That's a mistake that the Montreal Canadiens player made. But our guy was there. He capitalized. And that's a split-second decision. And he, in half of a second or less, decided bank this off a Price, and he played it perfectly, and it went in. That's the difference, again, between champions and contenders.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I know that you got to run here. So once again, Stash, I really appreciate the time. You got some ribs in the background. So give me your prediction. Do the Lightning pull it off tonight? And we're talking about Monday possibly being the clinching game, or do the Canadians have some revenge on their mind?
It's gonna take a perfect game from Montreal, and it's gonna take the Lightning making a lot of mistakes. So, I got to go with my heart of hearts, and I got to say I was at the last home game of the season in Game 2, and I think the Lightning maybe give up a couple extra goals tonight, but I still think they find a way to get it done. I think they score first, and Montreal's going to be playing catch up tonight.
All right, Stash, enjoy the ribs, enjoy the game, and go ahead once again and promote yourself here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television on the Notoriety Sports Network, and I Love St. Pete.
Hey, man, thanks again for having me, Peter. We love your show. We love the Sports Web ourselves. We the Thunder, you can catch us as soon as the game is over. You can catch us on Shooter on the Stash on Facebook. We're on Twitch. We're on YouTube. We the Thunder is a show. Usually about 15 minutes or so from the conclusion of the game, we're live. You can call in. If you use whatever our hashtag is in the chat, you get to enter to win a free shirt, some Lightning swag from Smack Apparel. So, catch us after the game. Thanks again for having me on, man. I love being here with you on the Notoriety Sports Network. I love St. Pete. Go Bolts, man. And happy 4th of July. Happy Independence Day. Go America, man.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely good stuff there. The Stash from Shooter and Stash joining me here on the Sports Web. So I tell you what, we'll go out to our guest here because she wanted to call in. She was so nervous, guys. And what you're watching right now is the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, here live on a Friday night, getting you ready for Tampa Bay Lightning versus the Montreal Canadiens, Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final. And one of my longtime friends out there, Janine Wright, who is promoting something that's pretty cool on Saturday, July 3rd, and this is at Molly Malone's Irish Pub. Welcome to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. How you doing tonight, honey?
Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing?
I am doing great. We're getting all the Lightning fans ready, all the sports fans ready here in Tampa Bay for Game 3, and it's looking pretty good for this Lightning team, but we'll see what happens tonight. So you got a upcoming country artist that's coming to Molly Malone's Irish Pub in Newport Richey, huh?
I do. He is definitely all-American, and we definitely, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Are you excited?
I'm absolutely excited. I heard his track. We'll go to his track in just a little bit. What made you come up with this besides, July 4th? Because I thought it was for charity, and what you told me off air, you guys are actually doing something charitable tonight and then in the future. So what made you come up with this idea besides the obvious? It's July 4th weekend.
Honestly, I think we all learned something very important in 2020. We took for granted the simple things we have.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are. We in Tampa Bay, Florida. We have the best football team. We have the best hockey team. And we have the best music. So here we are. I am definitely supporting all of our local teams and our local artists. So I kind of felt like, at first he wanted to definitely do a charity today, but tomorrow, but I couldn't do it fast enough. But Molly's is already doing a charity event tonight.
Okay.
And they are raffling off a very special Lightning jersey.
Very nice. What kind of jersey? Who is it? Do you know the player or you don't?
Sadly, listen, guys, I'm a girly girl. I want to learn about sports. I want to be that girl.
Right.
But
this is my job right here. This is me, guys. I have
Your
to set
job.
the table. I have to corrupt. I always say this joke, and I'm not being like a jerk or something, but God put me on this earth to basically corrupt every woman out there to be a sports fan, and she is on my list here. We got Janine Wright on the Sports Web, live on the Notoriety Sports Network, and I Love St. Pete. That's okay. You just need to keep on watching my show, and I'll get you. I'll get you good.
First of all, gentlemen, please understand that we women, we definitely want to understand sports, and we want to be 100% about it. You just got to be patient with us. And I've made it a perfect. I'm definitely going to be a #1 sports girl by the end of this year. I want to know every stat about every player. I want to know everything because you know what? I missed out. I should have been a #1 fan of everything Tampa Bay had to offer. And now I'm going to do it. I'm making up for lost time. But tonight,
Yes.
We know the Lightning's going to win.
Okay.
We already know it.
We already know that.
We already know it.
Did you
It's
know
not-
that the Bucks?
it's a
How are you feeling about the Bucks in that Super Bowl run? Because I know you're from here. I'm from here too. We went to high
Yeah.
school together, River
That's
Ridge
right.
High School out in
That's right.
Newport Richey. A lot of people don't know that I'm from originally Newport Richey, Port Richey area. I moved to Clearwater, but those are my old stomping grounds. So what was your thought process with, the Bucks with the pandemic going on and everything closed down, going through this Super Bowl run with the greatest quarterback of all time in Tom Brady? You had to feel that electricity in the area, right? Because you're an outgoing girl. You like to get out there and socialize and everything else.
I felt chills.
Okay.
Like, I was so excited. That's when I knew. Like, I already knew Tampa Bay. We were already winning at so many other things anyway. But the chills and excitement that I felt, especially from all the fans and everyone, it was kind of like a wake-up call. Like, finally, someone realized how absolutely amazing and great we are in all of our sports. 100%. So we're just going to keep that shit going. Sorry. Sorry.
That's all right.
Did I
I'll
say a
give
bad
you this.
I'm just really, really, really passionate about it, and I really apologize. For using
That's
that bad
okay.
word.
Hey, look, there's 3 things we say on the sports web. Do you know what they are? Let me
What
go
are-
ahead. You got to write them down. Guys, you got to write them down. If you don't know them, here it is. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. So, yes, it's okay to bring some passion and excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. That's all right. You're a little bit more passionate. I like the passion. I like the excitement here on the sports web. So what do you think? I know you're not a big time sports fan, but
Sorry, I'm not.
that's okay. Do you think
But you're going to teach me.
I'm going to teach you? Absolutely. And I tell you right now, the Bucks have an opportunity to repeat. Of course, the Tampa Bay Lightning have a chance.
The Lightning
to
are
repeat.
already going to win anyway.
Yes.
I'm so sorry for all those other people,
Yes.
whoever they're rooting for.
Right.
The Lightning are going to win. Sorry.
So tell me about this upcoming country artist here.
Well, he actually is someone that I met a very long time ago. Now, listen, I came from the music industry, so I see talent and I understand talent, but he is such an amazing person because he's all-American. He wanted to do a charity event for tomorrow, but we didn't have time to do it because I guess it was like a plane crash where 2 people died and it was something close and local and close to his heart.
Sure.
But from this point on, I will be working with Molly Malone, and we're going to be definitely doing a lot of charity events. We're going to definitely be supporting our community, our local artists. At this point, I am so ready for a new time in which we are supporting each other, loving each other, and that is what I'm about. I'm going to support our team. I'm going to support our local bars, and I'm going to definitely support our local artists.
All right, good
And that
stuff.
is what we're about.
I'll tell you what, hold the line. I'm going to mute you here really quick, and we're going to go out here to Robert Salucci, who is performing tomorrow night at Molly Malone's, 4106 Little Road in Newport Richey, right there from 6 to 8. So definitely get out there, but let me put you on mute. We're going to go ahead and go out to this video really quick, and we'll come back here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Enjoy. From Robert Salucci. Go and follow him on Facebook and Instagram. Once again, go ahead and promote your event. If the people don't know, I got it right up there. Molly Malone's Irish Pub. Go for it.
And we are definitely doing an event tonight, definitely supporting our Lightning for sure. So if anyone's in the Pasco County area, feel free to stop by. Support our raffle, sweetheart. You're not going to lose on anything.
Love it. There you go. Janine Wright, thanks a lot for your time here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. And sweetheart, don't be a stranger, all right?
I'm not going to be a stranger. We're going to be doing a lot of work together soon, okay?
All right, sounds good. There you go. Janine Wright promoting a great event right there at Molly Malone's. And she was nervous, and I said, don't worry about it. I got this. She didn't want to get on camera. We'll get on camera pretty soon. Like I said, we will. We'll get her on, like I said, open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go ahead and read some of these comments from these guys. Christopher Cole says, let's go Bolts. Absolutely. Let me go ahead. I'm done. I'm too excited. I just have too much of a good time here on the Notoriety Sports Network, and I love St. Pete. I mean, some people are just faking the funk. I mean, getting on camera, getting on the mic, being all nervous. Not me. I'm having a good time. Now, today, in sales, I wanted to shoot myself, honestly. So again, I appreciate all the time and the effort that you guys tune in here, the webheads on the Notoriety Sports Network, and I love St. Pete. Dan Hood says, fire, like it. Let me go ahead and fire those cannons right there. That's what you get. Roger Shue says, go Bolts. That's usually my troll, so I'm going to give him a like. And, of course, that is a Chicago Blackhawk fan that's saying that, so he's getting into it. Sid says, love it. All right, love it then. Dan Hood says, I love all the live shows from the Notoriety Sports Network. Continue to watch and look at what we're doing. Former football players, guys from Houston and Philadelphia, and of course the Tampa Bay area, the evolution of sports talk television. And what is the evolution? It's a cross between a radio and TV show. I have all these sound effects. I have this. I mean, not necessarily if you're full of hot air. That's what I may do to you. If you troll me, I'll do this. We got it all for you. We got a TV show, a radio show. You can call in, you can text in, you can talk about what you want to talk about. And right now, we're getting you ready for Game 3 versus the Montreal Canadiens. Of course, if the Lightning win tonight, I think it's curtains for the Habs, if you will. Just my opinion. Of course, we talked to Travis Faley and Rick Sasson early on in the week, didn't we? And of course, Rick Sasson, being the homer, and I get it, he grew up as a Montreal Canadiens fan. He thought this was going to be a little bit closer. And like I said, the series is not over yet. There's still work to do here by this Tampa Bay Lightning. Well, once again, I sound like a broken record or something that you hear on the radio station that you don't necessarily want to hear, namely every hip-hop song right now, because you can't understand it. Vasilevsky, when you have a goal like that, a goalie like that, who can stop shots, who can keep you into the game, who can make the saves that he made the other night, when you're getting outshot, when you're getting out-efforted, you can win. You can win. You can. So that's why you have to feel good about it if you're a Lightning fan. Wanted Jamie Lindsay to come on here from Emily Arena. Guess we couldn't connect with him. We'll read these comments, and then we'll get you out of here. And hopefully you ate something. I know I ate a little something. I'll probably be eating a little bit more something here in the next couple hours watching this Bolts game. Tampa Bay says Edward Kirby. And I knew when we beat the Saints, we were going to the Super Bowl. I agree. I absolutely agree. So once again, let me go ahead and promote this event, and then I will get out of here for the night. Once again, Molly Malone's Irish Pub, 4106 Little Road in Newport Richey. The country artist is Robert Salucci. Tomorrow night from 6 to 8, who knows? I may be down there, and who knows? I may be at that Dennis Phillips baseball game. Of course, the Dunedin Blue Jays, I believe, playing the Yankees. We'll get Dennis on this week because, of course, the weather situation right now is kind of crazy. Everybody looking at Elsa, if it's going to be a tropical storm, if it's going to be a hurricane on Tuesday. We'll give you the update if we can with Mr. Dennis Phillips. And, of course, I want to promote this right here as I catch my breath. These are lightning rods right here. You see this? They're blue, silver, and black. You have to get with my girl, Monica Shack. She used to be called the Sugar Shack, still called the Sugar Shack on Flow Ohio Radio. Used to be on Wild 94.1. Get at her if you want to support the Tampa Bay Lightning with the lightning rods there. Sugarbling.com, SUGABLING.com, and tell her the Sports Web and Peter Blake sent you. So with that being said, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks to the stash of Shooter and Stash. Tune in to that podcast tonight. That post-game show should be wild, whether they win or lose. And of course, thanks to the great Janine Wright for promoting her event on a Friday night as we're getting you ready for Game 3, Montreal versus. Oh, wait a minute. We got somebody. He actually showed up. So let's see if we can get Mr. Jamie on here, the Buck Warrior and Lightning Warrior. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. How you doing, my friend?
What's up, Peter? What's up, everybody?
I see you, buddy. I see you. And give me a little atmosphere check there. Give me some fans cheering in the background. Tell them they're on the Notoriety Sports Network. And, of course, I love St. Pete. Look at that. That's your watch party tonight at Amalie Arena. How excited are you, Jamie, about this game tonight? I don't think you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can't hear me? Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to work that out next time. How excited are you about this game? Are you excited about this game?
Roman.
Okay. All right. There you go. Look at all the fans in the background. There you go. At Amalie Arena, the watch party right there going on. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll get you on throughout the week. Appreciate you right there. The Bucks Warrior, Lightning Warrior right there. We couldn't hear him. He couldn't hear us. So we'll get him throughout the week here. That's it from here. Do 3 things for me on the Notoriety Sports Network and I Love St. Pete on the Sports Web. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake. Enjoy the game.
Stan Arthur here for the I Love St. Pete Facebook group. If you're a business owner looking to connect with tens of thousands of potential new local customers, you owe it to yourself to get enrolled in our Key Tag Rewards program. Since 2019, we've signed up more than 200 local merchants. Sponsor opportunities are available too, such as our group banner ad and even your own custom key tags. Just go to stpetekeytag.com, get enrolled, and get ready to get busy. stpetekeytag.com.
Notoriety Sports Network. Breaking news, live shows, unprecedented content. Notoriety Sports Network. Built different.
Right side, it's Dano to center ice. A pass blocked away by McDonough. Goodrow carries across the blue line. Open right circle.
No.
Pass in front. Score!
What a job.
What a goal by Blake Coleman! And it counts!
0.3 seconds, David.
0.3 of a second on the clock! And it's 2-1 Lightning!
What a play by Coleman. Goodrow comes in, he steals it, goes back. Coleman dives. I mean, folks, he literally dove and he hit the puck with his stick and it went up over the outstretched right arm of Carey Price. That is a heck of a goal and a heck of an effort.